It's Draft Thursday.
We're live. It's Draft Thursday. It's Conversations Plus. It's crazy. We got the Chee, we got the David Bennett, Mike Stenger, and Ryan Crowe. I don't know if the HOA was quick enough as I clicked everybody. And this is just a general chat. We're hanging out. There'll be questions asked. If you have questions you want in, let me know. I'll bring you in. If you don't want in, you just want to watch, you want to be a voyeur, that's cool too. But Ryan probably has like 50 questions. Ryan, are you in a Bohemian Rhapsody? What's going on? You're like a floating head.
I heard you guys talking about Bohemian Rhapsody, and I wanted to recreate the effect.
Nice.
I don't look like Freddie Mercury, so I'm gonna have to go with Roger Taylor on this one, the drummer. I don't have the.
Not quite blonde enough for Roger Taylor either, though.
No. Just don't sing. We're on air, right? So we didn't cover that. We didn't talk about the See, I didn't even bring up copyright now. There it is. Feel free. You didn't even bring that up.
Roger Taylor, the different one, who's not copyrighted. So.
It's not copyrighted, right? That's
yeah.
fine. When we first launched and the copyright thing, I was like really kind of anal about it in a way, which probably was good and bad. But I would be like, "You can't show that bottle. Wait, no, stop it." But then it was.
You can't. You're done. You just broke it.
You're done. It's done. Yeah. But then I realized, okay, you guys are really. I mean, concerned about all of it, but you're really concerned about that music element was the big thing, the songs and of course the porn or the nudity or whatever. But I did have someone from the neck up in a bathtub, but that's as far as I went.
One of my first hangout experiences was a guy who fell asleep naked while he was in the hangout, and he just sat there and laid there the entire time. We tried to wake him up because we knew he had just fallen asleep because the sound of my rich baritone probably lulled him to sleep. But anyways, he fell asleep. And he would start to roll around, and we'd see his person splayed about and all.
Wow. She actually made up a game about that, right? Chee, you want to talk about that game that you made up about going to the bathroom and not seeing people or seeing people? I don't know. He's like, I don't want to talk about that.
Is there a drinking game, Chee?
I think it was a drinking game.
I think Chee's muted.
Is he?
Chee, you muted yourself.
Does he know he's muted? Someone help him out.
help Cheech you out with Hangouts.
Teach him how to do it.
That's a curious. He's leaving.
Oh, there he goes. No, I had hit the mute button on my laptop.
Oh, Peter McDermott's here. He's got nothing to say.
No, I had a post like, had they been in a done a hangout while on the loo, or like while someone else was on the loo, or like all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, and you get like points.
Yeah, you had to add points, but you got certain points for different things. But it was done such that it was in binary, so whatever you answered, it told you exactly which things you had done.
Hey Peter, welcome to the hangout. Oh look, Hermine followed you in. That's cool. Is she awake? Oh my God, she's awake.
Yes.
We didn't talk about you sleeping at all in the previous hangout.
I know.
David totally makes fun of me, and I'm like, what? What did I do?
So, Chee and David, as creators of the platform, or of the Hangouts, and as Googlers with a lot of oversight, I imagine that you get to see all these things developing on your platform. What are some of the most interesting trends, since you can't talk about people, what are some of the most interesting trends you've seen come out of the user base? I hesitate to say community because there are a lot of communities within the user base, but what are some of the most interesting trends you've seen? And not just posting giraffe pictures, but I'm talking about larger concerns, social digital kind of anthropology.
You're gonna make them think? What?
I'm sorry. I can ask about giraffes.
They're like, we work on Hangouts. No, I'm just kidding.
Well, I'm trying to separate out actually what I see on Google Plus and the stream and all that versus what I see on Google Plus Hangouts.
The longest hangout was really surprising. I'm not quite sure where that came from.
That came from somebody novelty.
It was interesting that it was so successful too.
Yes.
It lasted way, way longer than I ever thought that they would manage to get that to last.
Well, it did get some press, and that's what maybe the things that get press, like some New York Times.
Well, it lasted so long, and then they realized, oh, hey, I need to actually work in order to make money, and so I better stop doing this.
Well, as I understood, it was like a thing where they took shifts.
Yeah, that's what we're talking about.
Yeah.
You know, what I'd say is that if I look at a lot of sort of the social networks out around and Google Plus, one of the things that I think is interesting with Google Plus is that social friendship in long form and new relationships is kind of unique and interesting with Google. So, like in a lot of the other social networks, the communications are really short. And a lot of times they are mostly with the people that you knew way back when or something like that. And I think that, like, all of you except for David, like, I didn't know any of you guys before, right? And then, like, building new, deep relationships that are really interesting and complex. I think that's kind of an interesting trend of Google Plus that is, I think, relatively unique.
I think so too. Actually, the ability to interact and without being truncated in terms of the messages that you send, especially when you get to hang out with people and multiple people at the same time, you really get a group dynamic that you don't get on other social platforms, which is pretty amazing.
Right.
And seeing what kind of reflections of society come on to Google Plus, because in society, again, you have the offline in the physical space. You have the opportunity to make these person-to-person complex connections, and seeing within Google Plus the things that arise that we can see that are microcosms of what exists in society in terms of functionality in large groups of people, mass groups of people, it's probably been one of my favorite things to watch this entire time since last summer.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that.
Sorry, I will ask about giraffes now. So,
What? No, it's fine.
No, I was meaning to ask you, Chee, and
About giraffes.
how do you guys calculate the live viewer count? Do you count people that are watching the Hangout on Air on the Google Plus stream or on the YouTube video page, or exactly how do you figure that out?
We asked YouTube to count it for us.
Lay it all on the YouTube.
Gotcha.
Make them responsible for the hard task.
So do you think you'll eventually have the capability of actually knowing how many people are watching it on Google Plus?
That's a good question. It's not something that we've prioritized high for the YouTube team. Something we could consider.
Right, and it makes the point because I think more people watch it possibly now on Google Plus than they do on YouTube, I would say.
Well, and two, it all depends on how many subscribers someone has on YouTube. Like for me, I don't have that many, but I have more people that would likely be watching on Google Plus than YouTube. So cool. Yeah, I was just curious about that.
Hermine asked the question, like, does it matter? And like that's kind of at some level my question. Like, oh, why does it matter?
Right.
With the exception, I think that like right now the way things are, like when you go to YouTube to view it, like you kind of lose your cookie crumb trail back to the post if you want to post in the actual stream. But at some level,
right. It's tough as a host too to keep up, trying to keep up the YouTube and the reshares, and I try to use Comment Tracker, but it can be tough. You can't respond either in the Hangout.
But we should solve that.
Right. That seems like that's a different problem.
Right. It is a different problem. So do you feel like more people? I mean, I feel like on Google Plus, people that are watching you are probably people you've interacted with on Google Plus, and let's be honest, most people, even if you have subscribers, are more engaged, unless you're Chris Perlow, I think, with your Google Plus friends than you are with your YouTube friends. I mean, I don't think the YouTube community is yet to be what the Google Plus community is, so I just think that more people are hanging out, and they're like, oh, I'm hanging out with that guy. He's a show. Let me check out what that is. That kind of thing.
The social dynamics on YouTube are pretty interesting because they're one-off comments, and so you kind of have your comments stuck in a stream, and sustained interaction on YouTube is something that would take quite a bit of energy across videos.
Yeah.
No.
When I make a comment or look at the comments on the YouTube, I kind of think like I don't even look at who it is, right? Like I just say it's some person who made that comment. But on Google Plus, when someone makes a comment, I kind of like look and see like that's more of like a person. I don't know. So it's just different.
Peter has a question for David. A really smart question. Peter's been waiting all day to ask David this question. Breaking news.
Yeah, thanks, Matthew. Sadly, I already asked David the question in the back channel. We kind of have this little private chat going on that you guys can't see, luckily. But I was asking David if he's ever ridden a kangaroo before.
Yeah. See, that's
Can't
funny.
ride kangaroos, though. They're not
Oh.
Can't you like
right.
ride in their pouch? Aren't they marsupials? They have a little pouch, right?
Ew.
No,
Can't you ride
the
on like a
kangaroos are-
plastic one?
Most kangaroos are way, way shorter than I think you think kangaroos are.
You've never boxed a
seen the
kangaroo either,
cartoon.
right?
No. Well,
Aw.
I've been up close to kangaroos and emus. I mean,
They don't slap you in the face or anything? That's not
No.
true? No?
no.
They lie.
Okay.
Kangaroos are prey. If you think of kangaroos, they're like deer. They fit the same ecological niche as deer. So if you think about a deer, a kangaroo is just like a bouncing deer.
Dear.
So in Australia, do they use the phrase kangaroo in headlights?
Uh-oh.
Kangaroo
Peter.
headlights? No.
Where's the drum roll? Drum roll, I mean, rim shot. What? That's what I meant. Well, getting back to the YouTube thing, yeah, I think the idea that on YouTube you have no idea who that person is, I think is probably the big thing. And, I know that they're introducing your real name on YouTube, but until they do, it still says, like, G plus tips was Brian. And if I say, oh, hey, user 5673, you have a question, versus, hey, Brian has a question, it takes a lot longer, and there's it's less personal, less involved, maybe.
Yeah, I agree with that. Definitely.
And I think a lot of people are confused on YouTube about what's going on. A lot of times, a lot of people I've seen it over and over. What is this? What's going on? And I don't know if there should be something on YouTube where you kind of let people know about what Hangouts on Air are, if it already exists, if it's in that, when the YouTube thing comes up, it says, this is a Hangouts on Air, which is da-da-da-da.
Then you get to that weird point of, probably from a UX perspective, and David, maybe you can help me out here, is how much information should you leave up to a user to figure out for themselves? Because now that people expect everything to be delivered to them, what kind of effort does the UX designer have to go through, or even just a user, just an entire experience designer have to go through to give this information to people? And how much will people sit through? You have to wonder how long you can keep people's attention. Do you guys use those?
I think a UI should be intuitive enough that you don't need any help to use it.
Mm-hmm.
Right. If you've come to the UI or you've come to Hangouts and you don't know quite what to do next, that means that we need to fix the UI.
That's interesting because I'm talking about we, the royal we, started becoming introduced to complex social systems. And I'm not talking about MySpace. I mean, that was kind of complex, and it became more complex because, people started adding stuff onto it. But when we came to the streamlined but still complex social systems that we saw with early Facebook, Facebook allowed us to become introduced to different functionalities and elements within that site as time went on. It wasn't all there at the beginning. And then even when new elements got introduced, such as the wall and posting, albums. It came slow enough that the learning curve was actually fairly slow, and so people are like, well, I can use Facebook, I must be good at using social networks. But the thing is, they got to be introduced to that one element at a time, more or less. But with Google+, all of it came at once, and I wonder if people are kind of overwhelmed by the fact that they have to learn, and this is, an impression that they get, maybe not the actual experience. I mean, coming from somebody who...
Well, that's only true for the people that started with Facebook, which is a fairly small number of people. The vast majority of people come later.
Well,
yeah, it's about making
He was gonna
UX
say something.
intuitive. So some of it is not just about training people, it's about making sure that the UI, like the Hangouts UI is actually quite complicated if you look at it. There's a lot of things you can do here, but it's also relatively simple in terms of how it's laid out. So you can find out where all the things are, even though a lot of the operations are doing are relatively complex.
so it's like opt-in complexity. So one's
Right.
advanced option.
Like you open up the invite dialog, for example, if you're going to invite people, and there's a lot of information and things you can do in there. It's a complex dialog, but it's also inside the UI, it's one simple button.
Sure.
And then even inside the invite, you've got fairly simple pulled-out buttons that are put in certain areas to make it easy to figure out how to do these sorts of things.
Well, I think that's true coming from, when you say that and you point that out to people, yes, but when I come in here, let's say I'm not used to interacting on a platform like this, there's a lot of stuff going on, and I'm wondering what's important, what do I have to look at, and of course the thing in the middle, yes, this is what's important. That's why it's front and center, right? That's why it takes up the most screen real estate, and that's why it's all here. But the impression that a new user gets is probably more. I think it might be intimidating than you might expect. I've been teaching people how to use Google Plus since last summer, and I have friends who will come to me and be like, "Hey, I don't know what to do here in person."
Hey, I don't know what to do here. What do I do with this strange little plus thing? There's like a plus and there's no minus, and I don't understand why.
Yeah, I taught Matt Rappaport everything. That's exactly the voice he came to me with.
I don't even know who that is. I was just some guy in the stream when it's loading in.
Don't play coy, Matthew.
But Peter McDermott, I took the knowledge that Ryan gave me, and I tried to give it to Peter and Hermine.
Yeah, and what happened is I ended up interviewing Ryan via Skype.
Exactly.
That's true. It was
that worked pretty well.
So that worked out well.
So what do you guys? So what do you guys? I mean, you worked at Microsoft. You didn't necessarily work. That was before they had Skype. How do you foresee? You know, when you look at Skype and you look at chat roulette and you look at, you know, other like Uvu or these other video chats over the internet. What do you? I mean, and I know social. As I showed David this, that they have like a video party. There's no video. It's just like YouTube videos with chat. What do you guys think of some of these? We talked about competitors. What do you guys think about some of these other products and how they compare to Hangouts?
Well, we won't comment too much on competitors directly. But overall, I think that it's really interesting if you think about the basic model that each of them have. Not only the social model, but also the technology model. We certainly look at and understand what other products choose to do, and we try to learn from that and choose our way to sort of be figure out how we can have an advantage over that and do something, improve upon it. That definitely sort of is the basis for a lot of how Hangouts work, not only on the technology side with like using our data structure or our data centers, but also just the visual design here. It's different than the others.
For sure.
Have you seen Microsoft Social? SOCL?
Yeah, that's what I was doing up there.
We called it Suckle.
Yeah, I showed it to David in a Hangout when we were doing some bug stuff, and it literally they have something called video parties, which
Yep.
So
Yeah, but the video parties in that one is more about like
YouTube.
Recorded videos, not live video conversations.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, go ahead, Peter. Ask a question. Do it. Bring it.
Yeah, absolutely. So I have this video posted on my stream as well, and Kyle Salewski is one of the people watching right now. And he has a question if there's any chance of having, I know you can't talk about future things, but this is an idea that I think would be great that we can at least share with you. Any chance of having a guest join to a Hangout? Currently they use WebEx at his company, but he'd like to move to Google+, but people don't want to work with their customers to set up a G+ account. It's too much work. They just want them to join the video conference via a link that they send to the customer. With WebEx, the host only needs to have an account, and the participants just need to have a hyperlink and email to join the conference. Any chance of that happening with Google+? I know you guys can't speak about future products, but an interesting idea there.
Yeah, as I said, we can't speak about future products, but what I would say is that we have a lot of requests, suggestions that center around the business use case overall. And I think that we primarily designed it for socials stuff, and there are certainly a bunch of businesses who are like pushing it and using it in the business. And this is one of many features that people have asked for in order to help make the business use case better. Certainly things that we'll consider.
It doesn't sound like it would be hard to implement either. I mean, you send people a temporary password or a link, and it gives you a certain amount of time, and you can get it renewed or or refreshed or however you want to say it. And you can divvy those things out, especially when you have like a large conference meeting and people need to get done on the same thing. Or
you're a PM?
Huh?
You're a project manager? That's the standard. Like that doesn't sound hard to implement.
Hey, there's oh, go ahead, Hermine.
No, I was just saying good project managers never say that because they, like, I don't know, you got to get your stuff on time and in budget, but you don't want to crunch your time.
And look, Hermine put her hair together. Look at that. That's awesome.
PMs always want the most possible features in the least possible time.
So,
The hard thing about anything that sort of thing is if you really want to think it through is every one of those features might not be all that hard to add from a UI complexity point of view individually, but you can imagine like 100 features that you might want to add, and if you add all 100 of them, then the whole thing becomes a mess. So the question becomes, like for something like that, how do you affect the model? How do you affect the UI to make it natural without like just tacking on additional features? And then there are other considerations, like if we allow people in who essentially don't have a profile, don't have a history, like how do you do review supporting on them, and how do you do a bunch of things like that? Like it's actually a complexity sort of issue.
Well, and how does because I know for search, Google values speed above all else, and I know that even if somebody wants to add a cool thing to search, if it slows down the speed of the search, then you either can make it faster or it's dropped, no matter how innovative it is. That's something I read on I think one of the Think reports that was released a few months ago. Is that same concept applied to all products? And what about Google Plus proper when you're on the main screen?
There's a lot of different factors that come in, right? Like the search team cares an immense amount of relevancy. Like that's huge. We think about relevancy all the time. I don't know that for Google Plus you could say there's any one thing that is like king over everything else.
Mm-hmm. So there's not like a lateral succession of hierarchy, but not a.
Yeah, we don't think about things that way. No.
Okay. It would be hard to do so with so many groups acting. It seems like you were saying semi-autonomously earlier. Trying to tell them which of them got priority would probably cause a lot of internal strife.
We actually have to go and think that through, and a priority is really important. Understand that priority. For Hangouts, we on a very regular basis we go through and look at the priorities and adjust it as the landscape changes and as things get released. So like now that Hangouts on Air, the coding part is done, and we're in the release and support part of it. Like we're looking at what's the priority next. We definitely are doing that.
Cool.
Can I ask a couple questions for you guys since we have you here?
Yeah, shoot. Yeah, go ahead.
Cool. And they a little bit go towards legal as well as just a feature, but more of a benefits question really than an attribute or a feature. But really, one of the challenges that I've heard other people discuss had to do with like proof of consent and proof of rights. So we're doing these on-air hangouts, and we're like, okay, great, I got these rights for this music. I can definitely use them. Or I've already cross-checked, and I have rights for minors, for like consent for them to be in this on-air account, whatever. Or sorry, hangout. What can I do to share that conversation or communication with the team at, is it Google Plus Hangouts or YouTube, or who is it that really is helping to facilitate that aspect of it?
There isn't someone you have to submit to. If you definitely ascertain the rights to do it, then and like you like if you're certain that you have the rights to do that performance, then go and do that performance. Like that's something that you have to assess, and if you're doing a big one, like your lawyers should make sure it's clean. That's not something that we'll police in that sort of way. I can't go too far into like how we're doing this, but at the core, if you ascertain the rights to perform, make that performance or play that piece of media or whatever, then like at that point, then do it.
So we should just store it like in our Google Drive and just hope that anything happens, that it's all good. All right.
If we end up coming and challenge it, you have evidence that can ascertain that you had the right to do it. You should definitely keep that.
Hey Cam, welcome to the Hangout. Cam Meadows, Hangout Party. So Cam, it's interesting. So Cam Meadows, we talked about longest hangout, but Hangout Party was something that came along early too, and you guys had a lot of interaction with Cam and Hangout Party, and then it kind of inspired me to do Hangout Conversations after in September. So what was that culture like, and from doing, because we were all doing these live Hangouts on air before they were called Hangouts on air. We were broadcasting, live streaming, and longest hangout, Hangout Party, my show, a couple of other shows. I know Hermine did a little bit with cooking, and there's been and people were trying stuff. And so, what was your, impression of all that? And we discovered, a lot of people discovered Daria Musk through Hangout Party, and some other people, which was kind of cool. And what was your feeling about all that when it was happening? Because Google Plus was so brand new during all that.
Well, we were definitely watching. Like, I didn't know how everyone would take to it. Like, would people like it? Would they hate being broadcasted all the time? Be self-conscious about it? I don't know. But I was excited to see people trying wacky things.
Yeah. Cam, David was excited too. David loves the wacky.
Obviously,
I like the wacky things.
He enjoys the wackiness. Cam, you want to talk a little bit about your experience at the beginning?
Of Hangouts?
Party. Yeah.
Of Hangout Party? Well, it was very exciting in the beginning of Hangouts, and I think we all met a lot of people really fast, and they were all interesting people, and I liked having, Hangout Party as it felt like a place to meet in a way, where all the people that liked people would get together, that enjoyed Hangouts, and be able to, do something bigger than just sit around and talk with each other. They'd be able to do something that everyone else can participate in and watch. And it was, I met a lot of people through that, just because having that site and making it, other people, I did not know, would have conversation amongst themselves, and eventually they'd throw me into it. I'm sure a lot of you guys into it, because we were involved in everything, and so through that we'd get to meet people and learn some things that I think we never would have done without Hangouts, and then Hangout Party and live streaming.
For sure. Yeah, and it's come a long way, and it's really cool to see how we've all become friends and how things have changed and stayed the same as well. Someone asked, there was a question on, Sean S. asked about YouTube's downside. He's talking about, and it's interesting, he's talking about how on YouTube it's harder to interact, like you said, the G plus posts, the cookie trails, getting back to it. But if you discover Hangout on Air on YouTube, you really can't click on the people in the Hangout and see who's who, and you really can't discover all that, and maybe that's coming in the future, but he was talking about how it's hard to interact and know, and we mentioned a little bit about, what is this, but the people that are in it and finding out more about them, I don't know if you would take them to their Google Plus profile versus their YouTube profile. A lot of people on YouTube, I find, sign up for YouTube afterwards, whatever. I'll go look at their YouTube. I know them on Plus, and I look at their YouTube, and it's blank. There's nothing on it. It's just kind of there to comment.
Yeah, and Google has hinted at integrating Google Plus with YouTube, so I'm sure we'll see something there.
Right. But there's definitely an issue, I guess, right now for people discovering on YouTube, and that's what Sean was asking about. Some kind of.
I was actually commenting with someone today where, when I watch an on-air, whether it's in YouTube or in the stream or wherever, sometimes I go and I try to click on someone to find out who that person is.
It doesn't work.
But yeah, it doesn't work.
I keep trying that too. So
I know.
It's really useful to have that.
It still doesn't work.
It still doesn't work every time I try it.
And it's funny you mention that, because on the new.
Against you, David.
You should.
Okay.
No, but you gotta file a whole bug against Google Plus, because before we used to be able to click on pictures, and they're little thumbnails. Sometimes they're not clickable, on people's profiles, which is interesting. Anyway, Cam, do you know what this hangout was?
Cool. So talk to me about voting buttons for a second. Something that I've seen a lot in traditional YouTube video clips. Are they're going to be available for Hangouts on Air?
You mean for voting it up and down?
Yeah. Your vote on what you think about Matt's new shirt. Thumbs up, thumbs down. And just, have that interaction, that engagement. And I just wonder sometimes, because we're such a passive audience when we watch traditional television, but I almost call it the American Idol? Is that it? Kind of syndrome, where if it's like if we could just vote, if we could do just a little bit more, there's that engagement and we stay tuned for a little longer. So I'm always just wondering if that's ever gonna. I don't know if it's a new show.
I'm not sure it's the new show. Anyway.
It's not a new show, yeah, but she was just making a point, I think.
Yes, that's right.
I like Cam's new shirt, though. Look at that.
Cam's new hat. Vote on the hat. I don't know what it is.
Cam, as far as I can tell, you have not changed since last year.
Yeah, well,
it's changed since June. That's the same shirt he was wearing. Like,
no, but he did bleach his hair blonde, so that was different. Take your hat off.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, he did do the summer bleach.
We'll get that.
Yeah, June 29th. About that, do we, or do you, or does anyone have any plans for June 29th? Around that time? Should definitely celebrate.
Kind of a birthday or a
year anniversary.
Well, we should put together a little Plus convention. I'm not gonna.
We do something so big and so awesome that all of our friends that we've lost over the last 9-10 months will have to come out from hiding and rejoin us and be with us at least one more day.
At first I was like, who? Why are people dying? I don't know what you meant.
In a way, they have died, you know? At one time, we spent hours a day with them, and now...
Well, yeah.
I've been in grad school since G Plus started. I haven't hung out with anybody. So...
There it is. I'm dead. Hey, we can celebrate my 34th birthday in 2 hours. I know, I don't look that old, but, you know.
Really?
Wow. Did you get a new shirt?
What is? You like my new shirt? I got a brand new white shirt that I had for a couple of years, brand new. Just didn't wear it. That's all. That's it.
So Matt, for your birthday, you want everyone to watch this video once it's up on YouTube. Correct?
Yeah, once it's up on the appropriate YouTube with all the appropriate ads covering it. What?
No, wait, Matt. Can we hit play on the video, mute it, turn the monitor off, and walk into another room? Does that count?
Well, not if you're gonna.
Increase the viewer count.
It would, yeah. I don't care. Hit play.
So we need like a auto refresh bot.
We need to put this video on the botnet. We need to put the video on the botnet. Yep.
Hey, so Peter, you're gonna need some new digs over there. You got a new setup. It looks a little different. You got a couch, therapist couch. Nice.
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
Anybody?
A new hairdo.
$190 every 15 minutes. You lie down there and I tell you what your problems are.
Nice. That sounds like a hangout.
Yeah.
Actually.
That sounds like perfect. You can go to sleep.
Hermine,
Yeah.
That will be the first thing there, yes.
Hermine, how does it feel to overtake Jonathan Maddox as the sleep queen of Hangouts?
It's great. I mean, Serta should start, like, paying me just to rest, or whoever the heck is out there. It's hilarious.
How many people have contacted you that you've never talked to that were just because you were sleeping while they were meeting you? Was that like a big number? Or?
Are you serious? Yeah, no. That would just freak me out.
How do you meet someone whilst you're sleeping?
No, I'm saying like every time, look, when you go and see a new Hangout, we did at least at one point, we would look at each other's faces and profiles at some point, right? So someone must have clicked on our profile and said, who is this person that's sleeping? Oh, dinner? Sure. I understand. Chee. They should, wait, why doesn't Google, like, have someone bring food up to you? Is that not a service?
10 feet away from them right now.
Is it not like room service or like Google?
Yeah, it's just too hard to walk across the, 10 meters and get myself to food.
I mean, we would love to watch you eat on camera. I know you want to. I mean, what's the difference? It's like,
so, Chee and David, I've got a question for you.
What? Peter, go ahead.
Well, I mean, Steve Grove came in. When are you guys coming to visit me?
Steve Grove visited you?
Look at this shock.
Wow. Yeah.
Actually, yeah, I agree. Chee, David, you're like the last two Pokemon that I haven't caught.
Come on, guys. First city in the U.S. First city in the U.S. to host Google for Entrepreneurs. And you guys weren't there. I was so bummed out.
And David was going to be at South by Southwest, supposedly, right?
So. Wait, so remind me, where are you?
I'm in Nashville.
Nashville? What brought Steve to Nashville?
Well, he came to see me. Come on.
The young entrepreneur, right?
No, he was of course talking about YouTube and a little bit of Google Plus, but.
Anyways, I should go to Tennessee next time I go back home, but I haven't been back home for 4 years.
Well, I'll tell you what.
Where's
If you guys decide to come through here, I'll make sure you get taken care of, hotel and all that.
Got a
Right.
couch.
Where is
Yeah,
home for
couch
me
or
is
hotel. Yeah.
Lexington,
I mean,
Kentucky.
you want to sleep on my couch when I'm offering a hotel? It's a little creepy, but we can do that, David.
So Lexington, Kentucky versus Washington. I mean, is it? I mean, I know you've traveled. You guys have both lived all over the world. We didn't really talk about that much. Is there a favorite place that you've lived or that you miss, or you're happy where you are?
Seattle is by far my favorite place I've ever lived.
No.
Yeah, I
Really
agree.
nice city.
I agree. Seattle, like, it's close enough to a big city, but it has the benefit of being sort of smaller. Like, have a small feel to it.
Plus, it's got an amazingly beautiful climate. When it's sunny here, the mountains are amazing. You
when
travel.
it's sunny.
Yeah, even when it isn't sunny, it's still pretty. It's all really green. There's water everywhere. It's great.
Yeah.
You enjoy the rain.
I do.
Mm.
The rain to me means we're not in drought.
But the rain,
We're coming.
the rain is actually very different here than like in Boston or somewhere else. Like the rain is kind of soft and misty. Like when you're in Boston, you have a rain. Like it's annoying. It's
Huh. You're saying it's
People
like,
walk around. People don't own umbrellas in Seattle. They walk around outside in the rain because it just doesn't quite get that wet usually.
oh, you don't get drenched. You're saying it's like a misty.
Right.
Yeah, softer. Yeah, and I play soccer in the rain. It's fine.
That sounds like a song. That's cool. Soccer in the rain. I'll get Daria on that or someone. I don't know. She's probably she'll do that. Anyone else have any? She's like, I want to get up. I want to have dinner. What are you, Chee? Can you tell us what you're gonna have for dinner? Do you know?
I have no idea. I might go to a Go Cafe. I might just go hit a restaurant. There's a crawfish restaurant I like over here.
Oh, nice.
Mud bugs. That's what's up. That's great.
Dude, I had crawfish sushi tonight for the first time.
What?
Really?
That sounds really good.
It was Cajun roll.
good.
It was pretty good, dude.
Okay, but the crawfish was cooked though, so it wasn't really, right?
Well,
Is it
yeah.
crawfish, raw fish. Okay.
How much inland sushi is actually raw though, apart from like salmon and tuna?
Oh wait, you had crawfish sushi in Tennessee. Uh-oh. All right.
I know.
I just thought about that.
Yeah, we do. There's a good restaurant here called South Street. There you go, Chee. You come and visit, put you up in a hotel, and I take you out for crawfish.
That sounds great.
And I won't wear a tie.
But she will. She'll wear a tie. Cool. Well, so before you go, Chee, is there anything, any sneak peek you want to talk about that, like a drop of a hint of something that you want people that you can talk about that is like going to be released, say, like in the next 10 minutes or?
We will, not in the next 10 minutes, but we will really soon, within a few hours, like, turn on more accounts on the Hangouts on Air.
Okay. Yay.
So,
Yeah, Peter.
just so. I'm just jealous of iPhone users right now. That's all.
Oh, because of the new Google Plus
Yeah,
app?
for once, the iPhone users got an update before us Android
Yeah,
users.
but you know what? I think your update will probably be even better than ours. That's why it's taking long.
Well, they did say we're also going to be getting something extra with Android. So.
Oh, like a green robot? Like
We're gonna get a Groupon for an ice cream sandwich.
yeah.
Right.
That's bankrupt. That won't be able to be. Oh.
Oh, I do have a question from Justin or Mon, although you said you really can't comment on competitors, although he's asking about the new Bing Social, which I've never even heard of. Is he talking about SO.cl or something else? I don't know.
Well, Suckle, yes.
Suckle.
Is that what he's talking about?
yeah,
We talked about that, Justin. We want...
They integrated Twitter and Facebook into the search. Like, it's not out for everyone yet. I think you have to actually sign up for it, but it's coming.
They integrated Twitter and Facebook, but as in
Yeah.
like, what, like posts? Twitter and
Social
Facebook
search,
posts?
similar to Google Plus.
To
And
Google Plus Search Your World? Interesting.
Mm.
That is interesting. I don't know how that would change things or not.
It will make it so that you get the most useful stuff first.
So what do you guys think? Do you guys find Search Plus Your World, now that I mean, Chee and David, you've been using Google.com forever and ever, and now that Search Plus Your World is there, how has the experience changed for you? Do you want to talk about that at all? Or? He's like, how do I say this without saying it?
Well, I haven't been using Google for all that long, actually, because I remember I was at Microsoft up until a couple of years ago.
Did he freeze? Oh, okay.
Whoops. So, yeah, I froze. So, like, I was at Microsoft a few years ago, so I was using MSN search.
I used to use
What about
Google
you,
search
David?
even at Microsoft.
Oh, did you?
I found that I couldn't find stuff in MSDN with MSN and search back in those days.
Ah.
Better now with Bing.
Yeah, and they really are going hard with the Bing campaign, the commercials, and tying it all together with their music. And anyway, but so Justin, I hope that satisfied. He's trying to send me some kind of.
I actually find it interesting how the marketing campaign and approach has changed over at Microsoft. I think that's pretty interesting to watch.
Yeah, they're trying to be hipper, I guess. No one ever thought of Microsoft as hip, maybe, or not. It would be cool to see Google. I mean, I'm surprised Google hasn't entered the video games yet. I've talked about that way back in the, because Google enters all these other TV, and I mean, Microsoft's got something. Who knows?
Like for Google to write video games?
No, to have like a video game system, like an Xbox.
Oh, a console.
Oh, right, the
A
G-Box.
console, yeah. Oh, is there a G-Box? That'd be awesome.
That sounds like something.
Call it a Chee box. A Chee box. Yeah.
I know. I was in the Xbox world for a while, and that is a really hard business.
Yeah. I can imagine. How hard. Although, we didn't even talk about Chrome. I mean, you do so much with Chrome. Of course, Angry Birds occupies most of your time. Have you met the guys that created Angry Birds?
Sergey's the one that's.
Oh.
Sergey's the one that's really good at Angry Birds. His scores in Angry Birds are really hard.
Yeah, I think he has a cheat button. What? Who said that?
Yeah, the Chrome Web Store. That's one of my projects. It's been an interesting project.
Yeah, there's the amount of extensions you've seen created.
Extensions, but the apps are really interesting. I found a lot of really cool things there. I never got to meet the Angry Birds guys. I mean, they did the Google I/O last year. So, I mean, that was pretty cool.
See, that's why we need a Hangout mascot so Google can make out with all the merch money for it.
Oh.
Right.
Actually, that's a good question, and I'm just asking it. I don't get the point of a box anymore, given where systems are going. If everything is going towards cloud, why would you create another console?
Well, I don't know anyone
Consoles
who
have
is
the
creating a
use though
console.
for high graphics and stuff. So they're making a new PlayStation. I'm sure they're making a new Xbox too.
Yeah.
Okay, graphics. Okay.
Yeah, Justin's making a big deal about this because Muhammad made a post and Scoble reshared it, and I don't know, the whole Bing thing. Anyway, it's blowing up on the Google Plus stream. But it's interesting to see. Hey, look, the more tools for people in this world, the better, right? Why not?
Sure.
More interesting things that happen. I mean, we all just like Zuckerberg said, why wouldn't I have a Google account? So everyone's tied to stuff, and I mean, I think most people. I think when it was interesting to watch how Facebook and Google Plus, and they release features, the timeline between to use timeline. What? They released features like Google Plus released this and Facebook released it, and it looked like they were answering each other even if they weren't, and they really just had plans to release things. But I think a lot of people saw Facebook come out with their video chat through Skype, and they all wondered, oh, Facebook probably is working on something like a Hangout. And I know that other people have played with that, but I mean, I don't necessarily know in the future if we'd ever be able to log into Google Plus Hangout with Facebook or Twitter, or Facebook Hangout with Google Plus account, or that would be against everyone's interests. But I mean, the idea that we're all being social, I don't know. It's like that's a dangerous thing for you guys to comment on, so you don't have to. But Peter can comment on it. Peter?
No.
No, you won't. All right.
No.
No comment from Peter?
No comment. Peter's quiet.
I totally agree with Peter.
Wow. All right. Well, I'll see if there are any more questions besides being pestered by Mr. Ormond. Brett Gibson talking about he runs personal training sessions with private groups via Hangouts, getting people fitted off the couch. So that's kind of cool.
Link on that one. Did he send a link in your post? Okay.
He didn't say, Brett, send us a link. Patricio Brisceno, who's really cool, nice guy. G Plus is his first social network. He's met awesome people from every continent. He practices his English, Portuguese. He's learning French via Hangouts. He said if Google Plus and Hangouts were not here, what would you be doing? Is he talking about me personally or everybody? I don't know.
I would be going to dinner.
All right. Well, enjoy your dinner. Thank you, Chee. I can't thank you enough. David, if you need to eat too. I hope you had fun. It was a good time. And
Good night, guys.
Good night, Chee. Take it easy. Good night,
Bye.
David.
Thank
I really appreciate it. Looking forward to the future.
Yeah, so am I.
Did I ask the wrong question? I'm saying, see you.
Yeah, bye.
See you, David.
Bye.
Later.
Wow, that was interesting. All right.
Wow, so that just happened. That just occurred that you got those two like last minute, or?
Yeah. So what it was that this is how karma works. I was supposed to have a guitar player. He was going to get another person on. He canceled. And I asked, as I've asked before, and I made it happen. So, and it nothing to do with the fact that my birthday's in an hour. You can speculate, but.
Oh, wait a minute.
That's probably not it, but.
Oh, you were like, it's my birthday.
I
so
didn't
it'd be
say that.
really
They didn't even know.
cool If you could show up.
Cool.
That's awesome. Happy early birthday.
Thank you. Totally.
Should we start singing Happy
Don't
Birthday?
sing. It's copyrighted.
Oh, that's true. It is copyrighted. We can't.
But
do
we
it.
can make up our own Google Plus version and be like, happy birthday, Matthew, rapper.
Oh my God, Muhammad Mansour too. Hey, I was just hitting
Oh,
for
jeez.
you, Hermine. Thank you. I appreciate it. It was a good show. Chee and David, thank you so much for being part of it. And hopefully that, I don't know if you guys watched, did you watch any of the, Mike, you watched some of the first part?
Yeah, I actually watched the whole thing. I was doing other stuff while I was listening to it.
Cool. Is there anything we missed? I don't even know.
Nothing I can think of off the top of my head.
Yeah. Justin and Muhammad are sitting next to each other. Muhammad Mansour said happy birthday. Thanks, Muhammad.
I mean, of course, you could only get so much information out of them. You did get a job, though. You did.
You
but
got so much information.
I'm going to get so shut down for that, for all that. They're like, Rappaport! I'm going to get a private phone call from, like, Vic and Brother. They'll be like, you know what, Matt, you just, no, we don't like. That's probably why they had to go. I asked that last question. That was a killer question, right, with the Facebook and the...
Those are funny ones. It's like, really, dude?
Well, people think about it. I mean, I think the first thing I thought about was, okay, Google releases Hangouts, Facebook releases one-on-one video chats. Is Facebook now working on Hangouts? Well, who knows? I'm sure that Muhammad and Justin know because Muhammad's asked me about Bing Social. Muhammad, to be honest with you, I was busy preparing for this show. If Bing Social came out today, or you just create... This is what I think. I think Muhammad got hired at Microsoft. Everyone said, hey, Muhammad, can you create something? Muhammad jumped on a computer. He went, doo-doo-doo-doo-doo. Bing Social appeared, and now it's everywhere. Oh, you got to go later, Peter.
Hey,
I
Matt,
don't know
thanks
if
for
it
having
was
me on, man.
exactly
Appreciate it.
like that.
Appreciate you being here. Love your ties. Step behind.
I'm sure Muhammad had some, to do with it, but I don't think it was,
Muhammad is neither confirming nor denying what I said, but to be honest, I have not. I saw a screenshot that Scoble posted about Bing Social. I'll go look. Yeah, it varied, Hermine. She was asking a question, but also I could the viewers in here only show YouTube. They don't show Google Plus, and I think I could have thousands of people watching, or hundreds of people, or even 50 people watching Google Plus.
or millions. You could have
I could, for all I know, have millions watching, but on YouTube alone, I think it was in the teens. So,
Good for you.
but I mean, but it's pretty funny that someone like Muhammad could come and create something instantly on his own. We know his skills, so I mean, I don't know. I haven't seen Muhammad, to be honest with you. It is Chee and David's show. I will look at Bing Social after the show. I think I'm going to wrap up, and then if you guys want to start either a new regular hangout or even an on-air, we can do an after party on-air, or would you rather do
I want
off?
to do an off, because I want to ask a couple questions.
Okay. All right, the big questions. But thank you again to Chee and David Bennett and to Google, and anything that you've heard in this hangout is secret, even though it's on YouTube. No, I'm just kidding. I will be back next week, hopefully, with Lee Allison cooking at his place. If not, I will find someone else that's awesome I will do my best. And you know what? I'm sitting between two former guests. Mike has been on the show, and Hermine has been on my show. Hermine actually cooked on my show, and Mike wore his Muppet hat, which has since been in retirement. So.
It's gone.
Oh, that's
So
cool.
look at that. That's cool. And don't forget, Peter was in here. He's been on my show. Ryan has not been on my show, although me and Ryan did a late night on-air hangout, not my show, where me and him talked about social media for many hours, which was live. So that's kind of like being on my show.
Yeah, I've never been to hang out with Ryan, even though I've had him circled since like the beginning of Google.
Yeah, I agree. That was definitely interesting. Yeah.
But thank you for watching, and if you missed the first part, which was me, Chee, and David alone, and a little bit of stuttering and other tidbits that came out, go check that out. And thanks. Love you all, and I can't believe I'm not going to be odd anymore starting tomorrow.
What do you mean?
Because I'm going to turn an even number. That was where Mike says, Matt, you're always odd. Mike, that was your
I'm
that
sorry.
was the setup.
I'm slow tonight.
That's all right.
I missed something. All right, good night.
No, because I'm going to turn 34 versus being 33, which is an odd number. So odd. Okay.
There's so many of us turning 34. This is kind of cool.
Mike is turning 24, right?
Actually 47.
Right.
Right, I got the 4 right. Good night, everybody. Go do a hangout on air and say that you were inspired by all of us, or not. See ya later.